So I want to welcome all of you. Just chuck in the chat box. I'm always fascinated. Where's everyone coming from? It's always brilliant to kind of understand where you're coming from. I always like to do it. It's always the great way to kind of get an understanding of kind of where we are in the world. We've got such an international audience, which I'm super grateful for. So yeah, just type in the chat box, where are you coming from? Because I am super excited to share so we've got Ashton in the UK. Craig, wonderful to have you with us. I'm really, really excited to share what we're about to share this morning. So I'll talk more about it just now. And ultimately, with what people are been asking us and kind of where the world is, what we've done is that one of the things that we do that gets the most value for people is we built a challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. We go really deep. But what we found is that some people are very time poor. And so we built this masterclass to take some of the best from the challenge and to bring it together, and then ultimately to share with you what we've learned from some of the wealthiest people in the world in terms of the process that they get to create generational wealth. And I'm going to literally share with you the lessons that I've learned. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I can see here that we've got a couple from England, which is fantastic, Australia, which is brilliant, South Africa. Awesome. So Algeria, wow, we really are got a nice international crowd in terms of where we are. So I'm not sure whether you're as excited as I am. I love doing stuff when I'm sharing stuff for the first time, and you're truly privileged because this is the first time I've ever given this presentation. So enjoy it. I look forward to your feedback, and it's something that I'm deeply, deeply passionate about. You know, we had our mastermind just yesterday. Our mastermind members got to, and I don't want to take away from where I'm going, but they got to share and learn from someone that previously only helped families that had $1 billion. So they had to be $1 billion families plus. He charges each family $250,000 per family. He used to be from McKinsey's. He tended to only work with families in India and America. And yesterday, he shared with our mastermind members the keys to generational wealth. And so my question to you is, would you like to learn the 9 steps to generational wealth? Yes or no? If you're not interested, well, then you're in the wrong place. And what I'm super, super excited is to share with you what I've learned from some of the best in the world and allow you to participate. So I always like to start with a question, and ultimately it gets everyone in the room. So the first question I have, and you might or might not have seen this before, but I think it's really important to ponder on this. What would it mean to you in 12 months or less to be earning a globally diversified passive income and have portfolio growth without any hassle or complexity? Just think about that. And maybe you've been watching me for years. Maybe you've been watching me for 10 years. Maybe for 10 years you've been saying, oh, I'd really like that. But if it hasn't happened, what's stopping you? What about a second question? How would you like a system which can statistically will help you get there 70% faster, safer, and simpler? Not my opinion, based on Harvard, based on the research that Harvard has done. And thirdly, what is generational wealth to you? And what would it mean to you and your family? So just ponder that for a little bit. Just take a minute or two. Just think to yourself, truly, just really take some time and go, what would it mean in 12 months or less to be earning a globally diversified passive income and have portfolio growth without any hassle or complexity? How would you like a system which will statistically help you get there 70% faster, simpler, and safer, according to Harvard? And what is generational wealth to you, and what would it mean to you and your family? Now, a question that some people might have is, what is generational wealth? So I went to the all-knowing ChatGPT, and I said, what is generational wealth? And what I got back was generational wealth refers to assets and resources passed down from one generation to the next within a family. This can include financial assets like savings and investments, as well as physical assets such as real estate, businesses, and valuable personal property. The goal of generational wealth is to provide financial stability and opportunities for future generations, helping them build upon the resources and advantages given to them by their predecessors. It often involves careful planning and management to ensure that the wealth is preserved and continues to grow over time. It often involves careful planning and management to ensure that the wealth is preserved and continues over time. And what I'm going to share with you is some of the secrets that I've learned. I just see my camera's gone off. Interesting. I'm going to share with you some of the secrets that I've learned from the family office that we work with. And I'm going to talk a little bit more just now about a family office. But I want to give you an example of two clients who've come to us and who we've helped over the years. The first one was Jordan. He was a high net worth, 55 years, worked very hard in his life and wanted to build his portfolio to ensure that he preserved his wealth. So wealth preservation. You know, when he joined us, he wanted to build a globally diversified passive income, originally at $5,000, then $10,000, and ultimately $25,000, simply and safely. He wanted to diversify his investments between countries, currencies, and assets. He wanted to use his limited time to get effective results with predictability. He wanted to save decades of frustration and millions of dollars to get the right knowledge for him and his family. He wanted wealth protection, a plan B, and peace of mind. You want to be held accountable with an accountability partner to get results. He wanted to have a family office to help him manage all his financial affairs. He wanted to create generational wealth for his family. He wanted to have a fully completed, executable wealth plan and investment strategy sheet. And he wanted to get results. So my question is, do you resonate with Jordan? Are these some of your needs? Are these some of your wants? Are these maybe some of your wishes? What about Victoria? An entrepreneur in her 50s, devoted to family and business, aiming to build generational wealth. Despite a packed schedule, she seeks a streamlined investment strategy that empowers her to make wise decisions, aligns with her goals, and frees up her time for her grandchildren and daughters. She wants to understand the investment landscape so she feels empowered to make the right decisions for herself and her family. She's tired of not really trusting the financial industry and her financial planners, and wants to feel actually empowered herself to make the right decisions. She's focused on achieving financial freedom to cherish more moments with her loved ones. So who resonates with Victoria? And if you resonate with Jordan or Victoria or both, then I think you're in the right place. Because these are two people with their wants, their needs, and their wishes that we have helped. And if we can help them and many, many others, then I believe that we can help you. And I truly want to share with you the steps, the insights, the patterns, the processes, the systems, and the secrets that they've used to achieve the results that I believe you too can achieve. Now, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm literally sharing with you what I've learned, what I've observed, the patterns, and the mistakes that I've made and watch others make to help you avoid it. Now, I want to share with you quickly one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned. Who would like to know? Just chuck it in the chat box. Who would like to know one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned? Honestly, one of the most profound things, it had one of the biggest impacts in my life, for me personally. We are going to have some engagement. So Ilda said yes. Craig said yes. Marion said yes. Sudette said yes. Peter said yes. Okay, so some of you have seen this before, but it's profoundly important. So in 2009, and I'll stop sharing here quickly just so you can see me properly. In 2009, my strategy was always to work harder than anyone else. So at school or university, I just worked harder than anyone else to succeed. On the sports pitch, I wasn't necessarily the most talented sportsman, but I was always the fittest. And my strategy in life was always just to work harder than anyone. So as an example, when it came to property and investing, I tried to do it all myself. I literally went out and I literally read every book that you could find. You name the books, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you name them. I've read them all. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. I've been on all the courses, whether it's Kurt Coetzee, Dr. Hannes Dreyer, Dr. Dolph de Roos, you name them, I've done it. I have an honors degree cum laude from South Africa, from UCT. I have a master's degree cum laude from London. I have CRS, which is Certified Residential Specialist, which is the top out of America. I have ARPP, which is the top out of England. I have PDP, which is from the business school out of Cape Town. There's not many more courses I could do out there in the world, and I'd be surprised if there's not other people like me. Because for 14 years, my philosophy was, I will work harder, I will strive harder, and I will succeed. And then in 2009, I couldn't work any harder, and I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And so I basically decided that I don't know what to do. And then this thing came out called Business Mastery from Tony Robbins. I've always respected Tony Robbins. If you don't know who he is, he's had probably one of the biggest transformational coaches in the world. Accenture named him one of the 100 most influential people on the planet. And anyway, he had this thing in 2010. We just had the crash, and you had to apply for it. And I put in a huge amount of effort to apply. It was a bit like going to Harvard for me. It cost $15,000 just for the ticket. I still had to fly to wherever it was. I can't even remember. Vegas, I think it was. And anyway, long story short, I went to this Business Mastery event. And this is where I learned one of the greatest lessons of my life. Because what Tony Robbins proceeded to teach me, and everyone else that was there, was that there's three types of people in the world. The first is what you call a dabbler. And the dabbler is out there learning something new. And let's just use sport as an example. They want to go and learn tennis, and they go get some lessons, and they start playing tennis, and they actually get quite good, but then they hit what's called a ceiling in complexity, and it falls off. And they're like, I'm not bugger tennis, and they stop playing. And then they're like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to learn squash. So they go out and they learn squash, and they get some lessons, and they get quite good quite quickly, and then it gets hard again, and then they stop. They're like, no, squash is rubbish. So they go, okay, well, maybe it's time for a bit of golf. Okay, cool. They go get some golf lessons, and the pattern repeats itself over and over and over again. And dabblers basically never actually finish anything. They never achieve anything. They're always trying new things. And what's interesting is that it's the same in investing. Some people might be on this webinar, and tomorrow they're on crypto trading, and then they've got AI bots, and then they've got, Forex trading, and then they got stock market trading, and then they got crypto, and then they got gold, and it's rubbish. It's just rubbish. You can never learn everything, be an expert in everything. So they learn all the stuff, they never achieve anything, and they get no results. The next type of person is a stressor, and they much more like what I refer to. So I was a stressor pre-2009. Because I would go out and I would have a problem. I'd go on a course, I'd read a book, and I'd find a mentor, and I'd pay lots of money, and I'd do a degree, and blah, blah, blah. And I had this problem, and I'd break through, ladies and gentlemen. It was like super exciting. Woohoo, I broke through. And by the way, I'm sure there's no other stressors here. Just me. I'm the only stressor in the room. And then I'd hit another ceiling complexity, and I would work and do courses and go on books and read more, and et cetera, and eventually I'd break through. And it was a strategy. It was working to an extent, but it was a hell of a difficult strategy. It was very stressful. And every time I had a problem, I was trying to figure it all out of myself. I was trying to do it all myself. And literally 14 years, this is what I did. Just by the way, one caveat over here. There's a beautiful statement that Ann Wilson has, that these dabblers are like an octopus on roller skates. So they're just going in all different directions. They don't achieve anything because they're literally all over the place. So that's the dabbler. The stressor, as I said to you, is someone much closer to my heart. And their strategy is always to try to do it all on their own, to figure it all out themselves. A good example in property is you go out and you read this book here, Real Estate Riches by Dr. Dolph DeRoos. And, he says, go out and, look at 100 properties, make an offer on 10, get accepted for 3, and then buy one. And we've all been taught middle class, mom and pop thinking, go and buy lots of houses. I bought 16, by the way. I thought, I got 16 houses across different countries. I'm free. I'm financially free. And it was the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life, because I wasn't. Because the properties all have maintenance and costs and whatever. And I thought, all I need is more houses. And it was like, no, that monopoly game doesn't work. And so I stressed and I went on courses, and you get the point. And it was 2010 that I had this mental breakthrough, and it was Tony Robbins that helped me with it. Because he said there's a third way, and that hard work's not going to get you there. And doing more courses is not going to get you there. And reading more books is not going to get you there. There's a third way, and it's called mastery. And if you want to get to where you want to be this successful person, and you're here, you can literally model people along the way. You can copy them. Like success leaves clues. If there's a wealthy person out there and you copy what they're doing, you've got a far higher chance of becoming wealthy yourself. If there's a fit person out there, if there's a business person out there, and you copy what they do, it's called modeling and mastery. You expect problems, you learn, etc. And for me, what was fascinating is Tony Robbins taught us that in 2010 and completely changed my mindset, because I realized I didn't have to do it all myself. I didn't have to stress and try and figure it all out myself. I could literally go out there and copy other successful people. And then in 2013, 2014, I realized even a fourth way, which was partnership. And I realized the safest, simplest, fastest way was to try and partner with the people that you're trying to become like. Because actually that's just even faster. Because rather you can either copy them and still try and do it yourself, or you can just partner with them. And so if I go back to sharing my screen here, and I put it up on my slides, this is one of the single biggest gifts that I can give you that I learned. So the first one's the dabbler, as Ann Wilson says, the octopus on roller skates. The second one is stressing. I will find a way. It's the Scott Picken. I will find a way. I will find a way. I'll do more courses. I'll go on, read more books. I'll find more mentors. I'll join more masterminds. I'll blah, 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 blah. The third way is mastery. I expect problems. I find the pathway. I look for the easiest way. I look for others who have done it. Success leaves clues. I model. And I've got the picture here of Richard Branson, because I always use Richard Branson. The man started 400 companies. Can we agree that if he started a company and you copied the way he runs a business, the chances are you're going to be a lot more successful than if you just try and do it on your own? So mastery, like if Richard Branson went and started a business, he's mastered business. I mean, he's got 400 businesses. 8 of them are billion-dollar businesses in different sectors. Can we agree that if he went in to start a business with someone, he would expect problems, he would find a pathway, he'd look for the easiest way, he'd look for others who'd done it? By the way, when he started an airline, he didn't just start an airline. He went and he phoned the guy that was literally the most successful airline that took on BA and learned exactly from him what worked, what didn't work, how BA beat him, and then ultimately success leaves clues. And it was this lesson that I learned in 2010 that was so profound for me that I then went out and I invested a huge amount of money, my own money, in personal development to get close to people that I could master, that I could follow, that I could model and copy. And I'll give you an example of that. Singularity University, this is me with Peter Diamandis. It cost me $14,000 to be part of Singularity University Mastermind. And that was learning all about exponential technology. Roger Hamilton, I was part of Roger Hamilton's Crystal Circle for the best part of 10 years. That cost about $25,000. And that was to be, around a very successful entrepreneur and to learn and about business and growing and scaling and, quite frankly, Wealth Migrate and everything in between came because of that experience. Even this book, Property Going Global, came through that experience. So, these things don't just appear naturally. They come because you put yourself in the right environment. Mavericks 1000 is some top entrepreneurs out of America, and I paid $40,000 to be part of that. And because of that, I got to spend 2 weeks on Necker Island with Richard Branson, literally personally. So I've modeled him my whole life. I've loved him. I've learned everything I could about him. But there was nothing better than actually spending time with him and literally, truly seeing how he operates day to day, what his lifestyle's like, how he runs his businesses. And then Tony Robbins, I spent $50,000 to literally fly to Fiji and go and spend time directly with him. I actually went into business with Tony Robbins, and you might just start to notice a pattern. So everything I'm sharing with you are the lessons I've learned around this here. Because from 2010, it was a game changer for me. For my first 14 years, I was trying to do it all myself. It was difficult and it was hard. And after that, it's all been around how do I find the best person in the industry and at worst learn from them and copy them, and at best partner with them. Okay, so I'd like to just see in the chat box if that makes sense to you. Because if we're going to focus, which we are now, we're literally going to focus on how to build globally diversified passive income and to grow your portfolio, have portfolio growth. If that's the focus, there's a formula on how to do it. But if that's the focus, can we agree that based on what I've just taught you, there's kind of 3 or 4 ways that you can focus on it. The first is that you can try and dabble. Okay, if you dabble, you'll never get there. In fact, I guarantee you, you will fail. You can stress, you can do what I did for 14 years. And by the way, almost everyone I've ever met, it's indoctrinated, particularly when it comes to wealth. I must do it all myself. I must learn it all myself. I must learn everything myself. Most people are stressors. I was a stressor. I'm a reforming stressor, a recovering stressor. And in 2010, Tony Robbins taught me about mastery. And I was like, right, like now this is a new way. And that's why I invested so much money to go and meet and be around the right people. And then from 2014, it just changed my mindset completely to, I'm not even just going to copy these people, I'm going to partner with them. So with that in mind, if I was trying to create globally diversified passive income and to have portfolio growth, the way my brain works is, well, who is doing that? And something I learned in about 2013, I got introduced to a family office. I'd never heard of a family office before. But in 2013, we had a client, she sold her business for $300 million. And she had a family office. She was looking at investing in our deals. And I had to go and do all the work with the family office. And that was the first time that I even knew what a family office was. And I learned all about a family office. And I was like, oh, wow. So the wealthiest people in the world have a family office. And if I want to be wealthy, then I need to have a family office. And if I want to help other people get wealthy, then I need to copy what a family office does. Are you with me so far? Are you noticing the pattern of how this works? And what I'm super grateful for is it took me 9.5 years, but 9.5 years later, we weren't just copying what they were doing, but we've actually partnered with them. We're starting to understand the pattern. So if you don't know what a family office is, according to Investopedia, a family office is a private wealth management firm established for the ultra-high net worth family that provides that family with a selection of personalized services that include investment management, financial planning, estate and tax planning, philanthropic investing, concierge services, and more. One estimates that one individual with a net worth of $250 million is what you need to have a dedicated family office. So again, 10 years ago, I did not have $250 million, and there was no ways that I would be able to access a family office, not in the short term, certainly. But the beauty of technology is that 10 years ago, you also didn't have a private driver. No one had a private driver unless you was uber wealthy. And then Uber came along because all you needed was a smartphone. And as long as I have a smartphone, I have a private driver. Because what has technology done? It's cut the costs, it's cut out the middlemen, and it's dramatically increased the trust, the transparency, and the accessibility. So family offices were like private drivers. But now with technology, they're a lot more accessible. So based on everything I've said, can we agree that the fastest, safest, and simplest way to success is to either model, copy what wealthy people are doing and what they effectively, the wealthiest in the world have family offices, copy what they're doing, and or even better, partner with them. Can we just agree that yes or no? Because if we, like when you write a hypothesis at university, you know, I've done 2 theses, you write a hypothesis, and you either have to agree or disagree on the thesis, on the hypothesis. On the assumption we agree with the hypothesis, then I want to share with you what I've learned for the next hour or so about everything I've learned from a family office and how you can either copy them or you can partner with them. You get to choose. Is that fair? Okay, so I'm going to assume if you're going to stay, you're in agreement with the hypothesis and you're not a dabbler, because if you're a dabbler, you're going to fail, I guarantee it. And if you're a stressor, well, so be it. But I'm hoping I can make your life a little bit more simple and easy in terms of that process. So let me share with you the first video. So this video, I've got a number of videos I'm going to share with you because you're not going to learn from me today. You're going to learn from the best in the world, and I'm going to share with you what I've learned from them. So we get our family office to come in every single month with our mastermind, and every single month they share what is happening in the market. It literally happened yesterday, and Anthony was sharing why the markets are so topsy-turvy in the last month, what's happened in Japan, most people don't even know this. I didn't know this. And that's the beauty. You learn about it every month. What's happening with the market dynamics. And here's a little video I want to share with you that I recorded that they did for our mastermind that's got some profound advice for you and your wealth in your future.
This doesn't change, guys. Asset allocation, and this is not all of the asset classes we work with, but asset allocation is going to account for 85% of your return and is the fundamental building blocks of asset management and a financial plan that's going to, produce income or anything. But Anthony's going to talk to this, and this will give you very specific kind of views around the returns, the averages, and where we think the value lies.
So just to highlight what Garth Wellman, who's the CEO and co-founder of Calio, said, 85% of long-term returns come down to portfolio construction. So your portfolio construction, when you get to 65, 85% of your returns are going to come down to your portfolio construction. And the scary thing is most people are probably sitting here going, I'm not even sure if I know what portfolio construction is. And I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know the 6 pillars to portfolio construction? Alex, my partner, always asks a good question. Well, what's your investment strategy? Do you know the 6 pillars to portfolio construction? And don't worry, I'm going to share with you what those 6 pillars are if you don't know. But before I do, I want to share with you quickly an insight into who Garth Wellman is. Because I think it's a short little video, and I think this will be very, very valuable for you to understand who Garth Wellman is, and more importantly, what a family office is. Because if you're going to listen to someone, it's important that you understand who they are and you can trust their intentions up front, because the advice is meaningless. There's a plethora of information on the internet. The question is, how do you get the right information? And so this is a short interview that I did with Garth so that you can understand what a family office is and why it's different from everything that you are experiencing with your current financial planner. So I'm super excited to be here with Garth Wellman, who's the co-founder and CEO of Calio Capital. Garth, I first met you 2012, 2013. You were helping one of the wealthiest clients that I'd ever met and helped invested. And I was fascinated by what you do. In fact, I'd never even heard of a family office until I met you. And I bet you that most of the people on this challenge have never even heard of a family office either. So can we just start with, what is a family office? And in your case, a multi-family office. What is it like? Because most people have never even heard of it.
Yeah, hi, Scott. Yeah, great to have worked with you over the years. I think Calio was actually one of the first people to coin the phrase multi-family office. A family office is typically a full financial management of a high net worth individual's affairs. Typically, a wealthy person would set up a family office to administer everything in-house. You would bring in, legal attorneys, private equity, and construct a full suite of investment services from, offshore structuring to offshore legal advice. So we set up a family office to be an outsourced full financial services provider outside of the scope of just investment management. And that's what we brought to the table. And we realized that we wouldn't do that for a single family. And that was where we said we became a multi-family office. Our services were well outside of the scope of what a financial planner would do.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that, because most people, including me, only really understand a financial planner or / an investment bank. Maybe you've been invited to the private banking of investment banking, etc. What is the difference? And I'd love to ask you a question. I also want to give context from what I've experienced with all of our clients. But what is the difference from what people are used to what they get when they come through the Calio, family office?
Oh, look, a financial planner is one service of probably 15 or 20 that a family office does. A financial planner effectively looks at a person's wealth preservation or their wealth creation. He goes, how do I create more wealth if a person hasn't yet got sufficient wealth? And he goes to the typical listed market space. And if he works for an institution, he goes to his employer's institution and offers their products as a solution to create wealth. The more sophisticated financial planner is the one that's working with the high net worth and saying, well, here's how we can preserve wealth. And that preservation of wealth then comes in the form again of the same financial products, sometimes slightly more sophisticated, a little bit more on the offshore side. He's not often involved in the actual legal structuring, and that is just outsourced by the bank to alternative companies. So very little of what a sophisticated financial planner does really goes into him being involved in the taxation, the immigration, the international tax planning, international business, corporate advisory, resolving tax issues, staying current. So I think a financial advisor is largely connected to creating wealth and using listed investments, and protecting wealth using listed investments, which is just one very small part of what a family office really does and is capable of doing with in-house services.
It's so interesting because it reminds me just of a couple of clients, and a couple of people are going to meet these clients over the next couple of days, whether it's Cynthia or Abdul or Niels. But just the kind of the context I get from a bunch of people is, firstly, they were used to having lots of things all over the place. In fact, quite a lot of chaos and hassle. And the beauty that they love is that they can bring it all under one roof and actually have everything looked at. So whether they own a house in England or a house in America, for the first time ever, actually consolidate everything and have a sort of one plan, not this disparate plan all over the place with multiple advisors. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I found really interesting, and Derek, who's actually a farmer, came up to meet with the Calio team face to face, and his words were phenomenal. And I always laugh at that, because why he said phenomenal, he said, I spent my whole life trying to find someone that I could, literally go to with financial advice, but with a holistic approach, not just stick me in the box. I'm just like, this is a product that everyone else is selling. And actually someone that could sit and understand me, my family, my needs, my wants, and ultimately come up with a bespoke solution. They're just two examples of many, many people that you've helped. But I like to sort of give people a little bit of context of why it's different. Just because we're used to a box of chocolates doesn't mean that there's actually not a much better solution out there in terms of it. So it sort of brings me on to the last question that I would have for you. And I know that Anthony will go into all the substance of how it all works, so people will get the substance now. But what I wanted to understand from you was the feedback I get from a lot of people when they meet with you, they meet with Anthony, they come along to the mastermind, they learn and listen, and they go, but it sounds too good to be true. If you're working with some of the wealthiest families, around the world, why would you work with me? What's the reason for that? Why are you even here, helping me on this presentation?
Yeah, Scott, I've said it before. You can build scalable businesses, and I'm both a financial person and an entrepreneur. But what I started picking up is, I don't think good advice should be the domain of just the super wealthy. Okay. And one of the greatest problems the world faces is wealth disparity. Where 99% of the wealth is held in 1% of the world's population hands. And we know that's one of the biggest problems that has to change. But the same with advice. The wealthier are, the higher the quality of the advice, the more access you have to deals, the more access you have to create more wealth. So, in our universe, we want to create opportunities for a much broader, much more scalable, suite of wealth and investors, for example. So I really want to see people that are hungry to learn, to create wealth, and to generate, economies like in a country like South Africa, where economics and business and wealth creation is so important right now. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if we can teach the secrets of that 1% to 25, 30% more people, we create a much more sustainable world and a much more sustainable economy. So, yeah, I think that's where, where you and I have worked really well together is to create scalable but high-end information being accessible to other people rather than just the 1%. Yeah. And also, with the 65 clients we have, 70 clients, it grows all the time, I haven't counted. families that we have, so much opportunity exists within that for us to, to spread that opportunity and create a real symbiotic environment for wealth creation and transfer of knowledge.
Well, look, I mean, just from my side, I'm deeply grateful. We've been on this journey now for the best part of 18 months in terms of the actual mastermind and everything. Anthony turns up every month and teaches us, Selwyn and, so many of your team members have added so much value. And my learning, and I think I know quite a lot, but I realized I barely knew what I didn't know, so it's been phenomenal, this growth. And one of the things that I appreciate most is when I find, people that join the mastermind, they seem to have it all. They seem to know everything already. And then they come and meet you and they just have their minds blown of like what's possible. So I deeply appreciate the partnership. I deeply appreciate what you just said in terms of people getting access to it. And I look forward to others learning about what a family office is and more importantly, how it can impact in their lives. So just a huge amount of gratitude to you and your team. Thank you for sharing it with others.
Oh, wonderful, Scott. Thank you for that. And yeah, it's been a great journey and it's always so rewarding to hear compliments from your clients. And yeah, long may we continue to, teach and grow people.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much, mate. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
So just quickly, I just want to check, could you all see the screen there or could you just hear him? Zoom was doing something funny there to me and I just want to make sure that you could all see the screen. So just if someone just let me know in the chat box if you could actually see him there. How's it going now? Yeah, you can see him. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so I think hopefully you got a much better idea of what family office is and what this 85% is. So Anthony's Garth's partner. He's worked with Garth for 7 years. And one of the things that he's done for our mastermind clients is he's taken them through what are the 6 pillars to portfolio construction. Now, we spent an entire weekend at our wealth weekend in March going through this. We spent an entire 2.5 days. So if this looks high level, please understand that this is truly the tip of the iceberg and there's a huge amount of depth that you could go into in each one of these. So I just want to share with you, for the dabblers are probably gone already, but for the stressors, I want to share with you kind of what you need to know. For the masters that kind of want to model, at least I want to kind of show you what you should be doing and what you should be copying from the family office structure. And for those that want to partner, I'm going to show you a way to get our family office to literally do it for you. So you've kind of got the option, whether you want to kind of copy someone or if you want to kind of have someone do it for you. But in simple terms, the six pillars are time horizon, risk tolerance, asset allocation, diversification, personal outcomes and goals, monitor, measure, and rebalance. So the first one is, they call it asset liability modeling. I like to call it simply a wealth plan. But ultimately, it takes your life, where you are today, what is your current situation, where do you want to be, and it builds a plan to get from A to B. So, and it's not just for the next 5 years, it's literally through to the age of 99 in terms of your process. So that's your first thing. You've got to have a plan, a financial plan from where you are to where you want to be. How's my camera keep switching off? Sorry. Over your life. The second thing is you've got to know about risk tolerance. So again, markets move in certain cycles, 5 to 7 year cycles. What is your time horizon? Your personal goals will play a large part in determining the levels of risk. So this is why at a mastermind level, this is a bespoke solution. This is not you're not stuck in a box. You're not meeting with a financial planner. You're literally sitting down and saying, right, this is my portfolio. This is where I want to be in my life. These are my personal goals and aspirations. How do I get from A to B? The third thing is asset allocation. So this is where you literally look at the different assets, you build up the different portfolio. This is largely driven by your ALM, your asset liability monitoring, your wealth plan, the time horizons for an investor, and also what your personal goals are. The fourth thing is diversification. So this is where you diversify across different asset classes, sub-asset classes. As I say, you want to diversify across countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. You want to look for alpha managers. Like, what an alpha manager is, someone that outperforms the market, versus just the typical stock standard, give your money to a financial planner. And, you want to look at the different styles of investing. And again, I don't have time today to go into all the detail, but you've got all the different asset classes. Where has my presentation gone? Hang on 2 seconds. Just need to. Okay, so you've got all the different asset classes. And then one thing that I always show people is if you take, this is a graph where on the left-hand side, you've got left to right is an increase in risk. And on the left-hand side, bottom to top is, low return to high return. So ideally, you want to be in this corner here where the mouse is because it's low risk, high return. The majority of people are kind of, with their financial plan, are probably in 30% bonds, 70% stocks. And they tend to be statistically over a 25-year period in the highest risk, lowest return category. And with just a different balancing of portfolio, something like 20% of private equity, you can be in a higher return, lowest risk category. The fifth is the personal outcomes and goals. So it's your short-term goals, your long-term goals, and any defined outcomes other than retirement. So I don't know, you might want to retire to Portugal is a good example. What does that, what does that mean? Or your children want to go to Harvard. I don't know, making it up. And then number 6, you have to monitor, measure, and rebalance. This is why you never actually achieve this. It's a journey, not a destination, because ultimately every year, you should be looking at it, reviewing it, every month, certainly every quarter, but ideally every month, you should be checking in where you're at, what's happening in terms of the process. Are you on track with regards to your plan? If there's anything that's out of sequence, because remember, a plan, any single person that's ever been on a journey knows that it never is 100% correct. You might go off track, but it's about bringing you back on track. It's about rebalancing your portfolio, reallocating, etc. And again, you can do this all yourself. You can copy other people if you want to, or you can have partners that do it for you. So I wanted to share with you an example of someone who's just been through this. And this guy, Niels, comes from the medical background. He's not, a financial person. And he literally said over here, I've been completely in the dark. It's so liberating, etc. But I'd rather you hear it directly from the horse's mouth, his experience. Now, he's been on this journey now for the best part of a year with the Calio team. And why I'm sharing with you real people, real stories, is I truly believe that you're going to learn a lot more from real people than you are from me spouting theory. Tell us a little bit about your journey in that process, because this is an overwhelming space. You arrive, people talk a funny lingo. No one like you're almost too embarrassed to ask the question because you don't know what to ask. What's it been like for you, going through that, experience, and also, you and your wife have been trying to invest and you've done a lot of stuff, but what's it been like sort of starting to clarify and understand this language of investment,
Hey, good morning. Morning, Scott, Anthony, Shane. Yes, sorry for being late. I had urgent meeting this morning.
You were
But I'm here. I'm here.
We're all good. You're on time, and we can hear you. Michael joined us on Monday, and we couldn't hear him, so it's all good.
Yeah, yes. Look, our journey with you is like 3 or 4 months. I mean, I think I must give some background here just to explain why we joined the mastermind group in the first place. I mean,
yep.
It goes back. There's basically 2 reasons. We joined the group over the last, I would say, past 9 years. We basically started investing or doing international investments. Now, when we started off, we saw a lot of specialists, trust specialists, international financial experts, and lawyers and all kinds, because we wanted to set up a structure that we can basically use going forward with all our investments. But the end result, for several reasons, is that they basically all said that, no, you don't have enough to invest, your portfolio is too small, and you should rather invest in your own names, which we did. But this comes to a problem because, by 2022, we basically had 3 financial advisors. We had PSG, we had Brenthurst, we had Anchor, we had property in the USA through a company there, lots of tax issues. We had investments going on in the UK. And we basically realized that it's actually all over the show. It's chaotic. So we were looking for a solution and someone to help us with this. And that is when we joined 1 or 2 of your webinars. But if you remember correctly, we basically joined 2 webinars and then I joined the mastermind group. because at that stage, I already knew what I want. And we really needed more info and knowledge about the asset classes and alternative investments. And I think it was August or September when we got introduced to Calio Capital. And so in general, I would say our experience with Calio was very, very positive. And I'll explain to you why. You know, with other advisors we had in the past, is they were all nice people, and they know what they're doing in their small field, but they are normally one of hundreds of advisors in a company, but they are not the decision makers. And typically what you get is you don't ever get a holistic view. You never get advice on taxes. You never get advice on where to go, how to do this. Nobody takes your hand and help you. They'll just refer you to someone in the company with some knowledge about something, but they don't know where you're going. And it became really frustrating. And that brings me back to Calio. I mean, I always, you know, when I went to the Calio meeting, it was an in-person meeting with Garth and Anthony. We always had, you know, back of our minds the thing that, yes, okay, this is just going to be the typical financial advisor. We hope it wasn't like that, but that's what you expect. You're going to go through the things, you're going to end up paying commission, and you're probably never going to get advice, and they're never going to take your hand and help you. And we really needed help and advice. And there's 4 things that really stood out for me. The first thing was, on our first meeting, Garth and Anthony was there in person. It was in Johannesburg. And that was something new for us. I mean, we've never had this. We know they are very, very busy. And we know they are some of the decision makers in Calio. But this is something that stuck with us, because it's very difficult to work with employees that only know something about this small field. I mean, you have 2 people that got loads of experience, international experience. They connected, they understand what's happening in the US, they understand what's happening in the UK, tax implications. So we were quite impressed. So then Anthony took us through basically through all our portfolios. He made a summary of all our assets, all our investment in shares, ETFs, unit trust funds. And although we really knew this, we saw it ourselves, but the picture that he put on the table, I mean, the summary basically confirmed what we always knew. And that was that a big percentage, I can't remember, 45% of all our investments was basically overlapping. We were not really diversified. We knew this, but it was actually worse than we thought. And to see it on paper was really a fantastic thing. And funny enough, as I always say, you know, as I told my wife the other night, is that we did the same with the previous advisors. We gave them all our data. We gave them our share portfolios. We gave them info into our assets in the US and the UK. They never made a summary like this. They never even considered it, because in the end, they invested in exactly the same things. Overlapping shares, overlapping ETFs. And that was our frustration all the time. And Anthony gave us a very good summary. It took a lot of work, I'm sure of that, and that we really appreciated. Yeah, so then they basically presented us with a proposal of how we should structure these things, what we can do, how can we remove all this duplication. And they even gave us advice on our property in the USA, which we really appreciate. For the first time, someone basically comes up with a plan and put their names behind it. Because, you know, the other advisors normally just do whatever their company tells them or what is best practice at that stage. So we found that very positive.
Also, Niels, there's also, sorry to butt in, but there's also very few people that can talk cross-border. So like they're very good at talking about their box. But suddenly,
yes,
property in Texas, and it's like, oh no, sorry, we don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, exactly. That's a huge problem. I mean, there's implications in everything. And it's easy to tell people to, go to speak to this specialist or that specialist. But in the end of the day, we ended up taking all the decisions. They never took any decisions, and they really didn't guide us. So this was different for us. Someone is trying to tell you what to do and why, and take responsibility with you. I found that very positive. And then, Anthony and especially Garth discussed the tax implications of these moves. What's going to happen when you move these portfolios, when you sell your shares and you move it to Intel? How can they help us to do this to avoid unnecessary taxes? They even gave us some advice on our US property and how we should go forward. So all four of these things basically for me was new. I've never experienced this. Now, because we knew why we came onto Mastermind and what we wanted, it was an easy decision for us. And we decided to go with Galileo. And we are basically now, within the last week or two, we've almost transferred most of the portfolio. The last few documents was handed in last week. We're almost ready for the share trading. So yes, I think in the next 3 or 4 weeks, everything will be in place. We're also busy with our property in the US and England. It's a bit longer process, but we know exactly where we want to be and where we're going. Of course, in the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. I can only tell you in 6 months or a year or so if it was worth it. But this is the first time we feel that someone can actually look at our things holistically, summarize it for us, come up with a positive plan and back it with their own names, and then take your hand and help you to do this. Nobody's perfect. There's always administration issues and things that has to happen, and this take a bit longer, and that goes. But I would say the overall process of Galileo was exceptional.
Awesome.
Much better than we had.
No, that's fantastic, and I appreciate you giving the feedback. And I fully acknowledge what you're saying, Niels. The proof's in the pudding and everything else. But one of the things that I wanted to share was more your human experience of being through, not the financial experience, the human experience of, again, we all kind of lost in the woods and not knowing what to do. And everyone we go talk to, particularly if we're wanting to go international, there's no one that has a holistic overview. They all try and stick you in these boxes, no matter what the boxes are. And so what I've always appreciated when I hear your story and other people's stories, no, it's a holistic experience, and it kind of it speaks more to the human part, which is the peace of mind and the okay, hang on, I've got someone here who can kind of hold my hand and come up with it, So I just wanted to kind of talk to that. And you wouldn't have heard because you weren't on earlier, but Derek, who was a farmer, literally used the word phenomenal 2 weeks ago. Yeah. It was the same thing. Like for decades, he'd been trying to look for someone to hold his hand, and now he finally has it. And for me, it's not, Calio is not for everyone. I get that. And we're not trying to, this is not a Calio classified, like in the thing, but for the right type of people. And again, that's why I'm part of the mastermind, for the right type of people that know what they want and they can really be a solution. And that's one of the reasons for me, I always talk about information and partners. And I think my job is to go out and find the right partners. I don't, if you talk to me about tax and structuring and pension funds, like I've got no idea, literally no idea. But what we are good at is going and finding the right partners to help people with, in that process. And that's one of the reasons why I so appreciate the partnership we've got with Calio, But yeah, just that human experience, I just want to, highlight what you've spoken about. The financial returns, hopefully for you and the family will come. But it's the human part that you've been through. Now it's the financial part in terms of the execution,
No, definitely, Scott. I mean, it is so stressful not to know where to go. To have financial partners and advice. I mean, just the connections that you gave us with Calio and others, bring us in contact with these people to understand it. It makes a world of a difference. It takes a lot of stress off your shoulders, weight. It's actually a very positive experience, especially in the world now with all these uncertainties. But from a human side, I mean, this was a phenomenal experience. And it happened so fast for us. But we were ready for it. I mean, because we've been sitting on this for 1.5 years, just frustrated, don't know what to do. But I believe, going forward, it's going to work out. whatever is going to happen on the financial side, I feel that we have proper partners in you and in the mastermind and with Calio. It's a very positive experience. It's a positive, relaxing feel. We've been through a very difficult three months now with all the administration to do these things, to move it, to shift properties. But it's almost done, and we can see the end. So, yeah, I think it's worth it. Definitely worth it.
My last question to you, and I know you joined Wealth Going Global originally, and you made me this comment here, something along the lines of listening to all the Zoom meetings has made a huge difference understanding the investment options. I don't feel stupid anymore when having discussions with the likes. Of course, I don't know enough, but at least I can follow opinions, comments without being completely in the dark. It's so liberating. Just talk to us a little bit about that evolution. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like learning investment language, like learning Mandarin, like whatever, and almost having the peace of mind to talk about it now. What's that been like in terms of, because you've obviously been, and again, to be clear to you and for everyone else, this doesn't happen by random. Nielsen and his wife have invested their time and their energy to come and do Wealth Going Global and to learn the lingo and to be part of the mastermind. Like, it's not like a little, a microchip that you just stick in your head, but you've been prepared to put in the effort. And what's it been like learning that language? Like,
no, just Scott, to be honest with you, I mean, we thought we knew some things about investments and financials, but obviously in a specific asset class or two. But you tend to, if you don't understand something, you tend to avoid it. And we knew that we basically knew 5% of what we should, just on a basic level. And just to learn the terminology or understand it, when someone speaks on a webinar or something and they say something, you immediately know what it is. It makes it so easy to engage and learn more. It's not a struggle anymore, because we found it as a struggle. You read these things, you immediately lose interest. You don't understand it. You don't know what it's about. You don't know the risks. It's just too much, and we found that it was made quite, you presented it on a very basic level initially, and then you got your discussions on a specific asset class. It's still on a basic level, but it made sense for us. And it's actually very nice now to go and listen to any webinar, and all these words pop up, and you just know what it is. It falls in place. And it literally took us 2 months to understand the basics. I would still say we are very, very, very beginners in this terms, but it's not our field. We are not financial advisors. We don't work in the financial world, and we have to rely on other people to do it, and to advise us. But just to understand what they're talking about has made things incredibly more clear over the last 2 months. It's actually a wonderful experience. I'm glad I basically skipped all the Wealth Going Global seminars in the beginning and just moved straight to the masterclass. I could do it because I had some experience. That is also true. But I still follow the Wealth Going Global as well, so I'm still in both and still learning. And but my opinion is it's worth it.
awesome.
As soon as you can, get as much of, yes, and even when you do the seminars, we sometimes don't understand it, in the mastermind, and then I just go through it again and I sort it out, and that helps so much, But after repeating it 4, 5, or 6 times and bring up the terminology, it sticks, and then it becomes clear. It becomes easier. It's basically repetition of a lot of things. So yes, very positive.
Awesome. Well, Niels, thanks so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. For me, I always think there's real value in real people, real stories. And, a lot of people hear Anthony talk, I've sort of already mentioned this, and they literally go into overwhelm. And we've all been there, literally every single one of us. So I just wanted to kind of share your experience, and I really deeply appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And thanks to you and Catherine, and I look forward to seeing your results,
Thank you, Scott. And just one comment. You will feel overwhelmed. Most people do. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just be open to ask, you know, and just do the repetition. Just follow the course. Go watch the video clips. It will stick somewhere, and it will start making sense.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Niels. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Scott.
So, I asked you a question, and I said to you, you know, how do you get results? And hopefully Niels explained it. So just type in the chat box, you know, would you like to be in the same situation as Niels? Would you like, you know, on behalf of you and your family, is that something you'd like? Would you like to? So again, today, if you take the essence of what I'm trying to teach you on the 9 steps to generational wealth, I'm giving you the tools, I'm showing you what to do. And I'm also showing you my formula that I learned over the last kind of 20 something years. And for me, it's quite simple. Like, you can dabble in the stuff, you'll never succeed. You can stress your way and try to figure it all out yourself, which is, by the way, what most people do and exactly where Niels was. You can copy. I'm literally giving you the playbook. You can literally copy what the wealthiest are doing in terms of the family office process, and or you can partner. And are you starting to see like how this works? And again, why I'm sharing with you real people, real stories, is that like this is the practical stuff. Like, anyone can go read a book, go to the internet, go to ChatGPT, you can get the stuff. But this is the practical stuff. So I have a question for you. And with the 9 steps to generational wealth, you know, it's a question that I'd love to share with you, because I have spent 28 years studying this. And one of the things that I consider myself pretty good at is pattern recognition. So between myself, my partner Alex, my partner Shane, and all the work we've done with our family office team, I've tried to look, and I learned this originally from Tony Robbins as well, tried to look at what are the patterns, what are the wealthiest people doing? And my question to you is, would you like me to share effectively the 9 steps that I've watched that they do? Okay, I've spent 28 years learning this. I've spent over $20 million building a solution if you want to partner with us. And if you want to do it yourself, that's fine. Like, again, I'm happy to share with you the playbook. But my question is, would you like me to share the 9 steps with you? Yes or no? Okay, so cool. A bunch of people are saying they would. Don't worry, Priscilla, I am recording it just in terms of where people are. And by the way, I'm just asking for engagement because I think it's really important. So let me take, and this is no one's ever seen this slide before. It's brand new to the world, because something I've realized over time is that, you know, Tony Robbins taught us about the 3 types of people: the dabbler, the stressor, and the master. But something I realized that I created for myself is that the 4th level is partnership. So I tried to partner with Richard Branson, because my logic was, imagine if I could get Richard Branson as our business partner in this business, it would just go through the roof. I did partner with Tony Robbins. I opened a business in partnership with Tony Robbins in 20, I don't even know what year it was, 2011 or something. And if you take everything I've taught you, I've realized that it's actually even better than just copying, which is mastery, to partnering, because ultimately it's the safest, it's the simplest, and it's the fastest. Because if you partner with someone, if your money's sitting alongside theirs, if you're working in tandem with them, then not only can you learn while doing, exactly like Niels is doing, but you don't have to figure it out all yourself first. And so if we were to say that there's actually a 4th level, which is partnering, and if we would say that this is our focus, globally diversified passive income and portfolio growth, and ultimately, how do you do it? Well, you diversify across countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. And I've literally shown you the 6 steps to portfolio construction. But it all feels overwhelming and daunting, like any big thing in your life does. And so how do you do it? Well, there's a formula to get a result. And you've got to have a goal. Like, you've got to be clear on what your goal is long term. You've then got to have midterm sub goals, and then you've got to have daily kind of tasks and activities. So if I share with you the pattern that I've learned over the last 28 years, and again, I'm not taking recognition for this. My partner Shane, my partner Alex, has worked very closely, you know, in the mastermind with all our mastermind clients, plus the family office. And we've basically gone what's working, what do people need, and specifically, what are the family office doing for all of their family office clients to create generational wealth? Because quite frankly, if you're part of a family office, you're not only doing this for yourself and to live a fantastic lifestyle for yourself, but it's about passing it on to your children and your grandchildren from a generational perspective. And it's not only about the money, it's also about the mindset, the education, how to deal with money, etc., etc. So I want to literally share with you the 9 steps. Now, what I'm going to show you quickly is that in these 9 steps, you can either do it yourself. I'm literally giving you the playbook, and you can copy us, and or you can partner with us. And I'm literally, so if you're feeling like, oh wow, this is a lot, I'm literally going to show you how you can partner with us to do each one of these 9 steps. So if you can see here, you've basically got phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 is the Kickstarter. So on the assumption most people are kind of over here, what do you got to do? This is the Kickstarter phase. Then you got the sophisticated phase. So even if you're a high net worth, but ultimately you want to become a sophisticated, global investor, that's the second phase. And the third phase is all around the generational wealth. So let's just go into the one in these each one of them. So the first one in the Kickstarter phase is establish your vision. You're never going to achieve anything in life if you're not clear on where you want to get to. And so for me, it's all about the goal. It's all about the long-term planning. Now, I'm an internationally certified coach. And what most people are caught up in is their problem and their drama. So we use a process called the Lighthouse model, and we get very clear on your outcome. What are you trying to achieve? I take you through a process. It's a one-to-one coaching session. It takes about 90 minutes to 2 hours. And we get very clear on your top 3 outcomes, your top 3 priorities, and your top 3 measures. And we write them down. And you'll be surprised because a lot of people out there are like, oh, but I kind of know it all. It's in my head. I've done this so many times, and every single time, touch wood, people are like, wow, there's so much noise in the head, and you help me get complete clarity, literally down to 3 outcomes, 3 priorities, and 3 measures. And I'm a big believer in simplicity is power. And here's an example of just one lady and her experience of the process.
Hi, Scott. This is just a quick fan message. I just wanted to thank you again for our coaching call the other day. And then also wanted to thank you for the brilliant idea of that sort of publicly putting in your goals in that Google Sheet. I see that the Google Sheet magically populated itself since the first time I saw it. And I must say the 2024 goals are very inspiring. And it's amazing to see. I find it incredibly supportive to see, people's just the amount of energy and the goals. And it's really inspiring. So just wanted to thank you for that. I really enjoyed reading everybody's goals. I haven't read all of them, but and somehow it's just really helpful. All right, well, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in February. Bye.
At the end of the day, simplicity is power. We help our members get clear on their top 3 outcomes, their top 3 priorities, and their top 3 measures without feeling overwhelmed. So again, take away the noise, take away the problems of the drama. Let's get very clear on what you want without you feeling overwhelmed. Number 2, investor profile. So this is something really, really interesting. So again, back to the family office, we've all done profiling tests, etc. But what they do at the family office, and I only learned about this in March this year, is they go in and they do what's called the Enneagram of Wealth. Now, the Enneagram's been around for 5,000 years. It's the oldest profiling system in the world. It's highly, highly sophisticated. There's 9 different types. But to my knowledge, it doesn't exist in the world, where what we've done is we've married together the Enneagram and the principles of wealth. And ultimately, there's 9 types of investors. There's a whole lot of pros and cons to those types of investors. There's 3 investment styles, and depending on what your numbers are to the Enneagram, it helps you understand yourself much better. It helps you understand the investments which are better for you. It helps you understand how you make decisions. So it helps you make far better decisions. Also, if you're a family, a husband or wife, it helps you understand each other better, your pros and your cons, and make better decisions. And ultimately, there's 27 tri-types which you would fit into. And it literally comes down to helping you know yourself better so that you can make better decisions in terms of that process. So, we've had phenomenal feedback from people. And so in this step, the 3 action steps are complete the assessment, review the results with a coach, and discover the insights and the action items. And the Enneagram and Wealth will help our members gain clarity and insights into what motivates them, enabling a more effective decision-making process for investments. We've had phenomenal feedback from people that have been through this process and getting to know themselves and why they've made the investment decisions they've made in the past, how they can make better decisions going forward. This becomes absolutely critical to your long-term success. Number 3 is your investment solutions. Again, we help you set up. We've got a private banking solution in Private Wealth Global. It's an exclusive partnership with our family office where they do the due diligence. There's a discount on the fees, and it's a full private banking solution. And what's important here is that we help you set up your profile. We verify your profile in a compliant way, and we set up and activate your investment wallet to actually be able to help you invest. So the investment solutions will help our investors invest simply and safely in high quality opportunities all in one place without complexity. So we get you set up and ready. Now you go to sophisticated. And this is the part that really should start to intrigue you now, because now you've gone from Kickstarter, now you're going to sophisticated. And it's about the portfolio health check. You know, just like if you go see a doctor and you have a health check, it's like, where are you at? What are my current assets? What's working? What's not working? And this is exactly what Niels was talking about. You work with our family office partner, whether it's properties. You know, this guy in England had 6 or 7 properties. Some of them were performing, some of them weren't. How do you rebalance the portfolio? You've worked hard for your money. How do you make sure that that money is being optimized? And the only way to do that is to do a health check to start off with. So the 3 actions here are: make a list of all your assets and your liabilities, review your current tax and structuring. I know this is really important for most people. And then ultimately review which assets are performing. And in the portfolio health check, we'll help our members gain complete insight and clarity into their entire portfolio without massive overwhelm and complexity, which enables the team to optimize the portfolio. As Neil said in that interview, it's so much nicer to have it with one person to kind of see where the overlaps are, to see the previous complexity and inefficiencies, and to bring it, you know, like effectively have one plan altogether. Now, once you've done the health check, then it goes to step 5, which is the portfolio optimization. And this is a balance where it's a multifaceted approach where you've got the Enneagram profile, because obviously we're all individuals. No one's being stuck in a box. This is a bespoke solution. You've got the asset liability model, which is your wealth plan. And then you've got your individual circumstances. And that's how you build your portfolio. So each one of you will get that asset liability monitoring, which is your wealth plan for the rest of your life. And so the 3 action items for portfolio optimization are: set up the right structure, execute on the action items as per the wealth plan, the ALM, and rebalance for the optimal portfolio, performance. And so what is portfolio optimization all about? It'll provide our members with peace of mind, knowing they have a resilient investment portfolio. I mean, how much would that be worth to you? Knowing that someone has really looked at a health check level at your portfolio. Our family office has looked at your portfolio, analyzed what you have, and then helped you, like literally with your help, agreed what a plan is in a bespoke way. So taking into account your Enneagram, wealth, your personal situation, etc., and then ultimately helped you optimize it. I mean, you've spent all your life building what you built. Surely you want it optimized and performing at its best in terms of that process. Then, most people in life don't have a plan. They're literally wandering around like Niels, where they've kind of got a whole bunch of different advisors. They've been trying to do it, but it's in a very ad hoc way. But for those that do have a plan, most of us struggle to execute and implement on a plan. And so that's why step 6 is accountability, mindset, and execution. And everyone's here to get results, but it's all the stuff below the iceberg: the emotions, the habits, the thinking, the values, the assumptions. I'm too busy. I've got too much going on at work. I'm trying to be a family member, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's 2 states that you have. You've got an away state, which is where you're withdrawn, fearful, inability to make good choices, demotivated. And then you've got a toward state, happy, ability to think clearly, creative, see new opportunities. And if you want to succeed, you've got to be in a toward state. And there's only 2 ways to be in a toward state. One is to be around like-minded people that are pulling you in the right direction. And 2 is to be very clear on your outcomes, which is why we start with the outcomes. And then on an ongoing basis, it's about the mindset. So, we've got different programs on turning outcomes into goals, achieving results with monthly measures, time management, mental wealth, flow, etc. So all tools on a monthly basis to help people get results. It's an interactive, it's not just courses, it's interactive every month to help people get results from an accountability. So you've got your long-term plan in terms of your outcome, but this is about your midterm planning. This is about checking in every month. Are you on track? And we use our accountability tracker. We've got hot seats to help people unblock things. We've got an accountability system, because accountability is absolutely critical to getting results. And we use group accountability in terms of this process. And 99% of individuals that have a coach reported being helpful, with 95% reporting that it was very helpful to them. 96% reported that they were engaged in coaching again in terms of that process. So you've got two options. You can do it at a group coaching level, and or you can do transformational coaching, which is where you actually work with me one-to-one. And every month I'm checking in with you, and I run a process here, 30, 60, 90 days, where we consistently getting clear on what is the focus, what are the goals, what are the priorities, and what are the metrics to success. So some people say, oh, I don't do all this. You know, it's just like having anything in life. If you've got that coach that's there helping you with that clarity, helping you with that simplicity, and helping you get results. And then, you know, the daily activities, again, everyone can do what they want, but I provide guidance on two of the things that I believe have added the most value to me. One is the 60-day challenge in terms of creating habits. And the second one is setting up a weekly schedule with your priorities in life to help you win. So the 3 action items for accountability, mindset, and execution are: list your top 3 outcomes, priorities, and measures. Be held accountable to review your progress and action items. So that's on a monthly basis, and measure your results. And accountability, mindset, and execution will provide our members with the tools and the resources to achieve ongoing measurable performance. So if you want measurable performance, if you want momentum, then this is critical in helping you actually achieve this. Cool. And Julie, I know that your brain hurts. I apologize for that. Like I said to you, I'm trying to show you what you can do on your own, or I'm making it simple for you if you literally want to partner with us. The final part is generational. And this is where you've got your wealth, your lifestyle, and your legacy plan. So David Lipschitz is originally from McKinsey's. He helps billion-dollar families in India and America. He's based out in New York. And he basically helps people with generational wealth. So the essential components of building and sustaining generational wealth, the strategies to align wealth with life goals and family values, insights into managing financial, social, and experimental capital, techniques for effective family communication and decision-making around wealth, practical advice for navigating family dynamics and intergenerational relationships, and steps to creating lasting legacy that benefits future generations. And what we do is, again, I wasn't quite sure how to do generational wealth. We went to our family office. We said, how do you do it for your clients? They said, we use David. And so same pattern over and over again. Well, how do we partner with David? And so the Wealth, Lifestyle, and Legacy Plan will enable our members to create a clearly defined step-by-step action plan for their wealth, their lifestyle, and their legacy. Number 8 is about community partners and knowledge transfer. This is where we've got an exclusive learning and community platform. So it's a learning platform. It's got our calendar events. It's got accountability. It's got community engagement. And it's got engaging and interactive community-based learning. So just to show you here, if I go to it quickly, oops, sorry. Come on. So this is our online platform, and we only launched this literally yesterday. So this whole 9 steps is officially launching it on the week and at the end of the month. But we're so excited about it. We're doing a sneak preview for people. So you can literally go in, you can look at the community, you've got the classroom, so you've got access to Wealth Going Global and Asset Mastery. So that's all built into the platform. You've got the calendar, you've got the members, you've got leaderboards, etc. So everything's here. If you want to go, just last night we did an amazing session on generational wealth, and this was the generational wealth tools. You know, what is your money story? What is generational, and your top 3 values, etc., etc. Okay, and every month we check in. Anthony comes in and does a market update, so you don't have to go out all month and try and do all the research yourself. Every month it's coming in. He's teaching us what is happening, helping with portfolio construction. Every month we bring in an expert to teach us about an asset class. We look at deals and we review and track and process them. And again, the feedback we've had from people over the time has been really amazing, mind-blowing, very valuable, extremely enlightening, etc. And then finally, in this process, it's about clarifying the knowledge you need and are interested in, utilizing the available resources and applying the knowledge effectively while leveraging the community. So Julie, this is exactly it. As Neil said, this is not about overwhelm. This is about a journey and helping you get results in a safe and simple, but in the fastest way. So community partners and knowledge will help our members enhance their knowledge, invest with quality partners, and empower themselves to increase their confidence and make better decisions for them and their families. And then finally, investments and results. The top 3 actions are for investments is to review the investment opportunities, confidently participate in the investments, and review the performance of the investments. And ultimately, through quality investments and partners, we enable our members to achieve results in globally diversified passive income and portfolio growth. So, Julie, for me, if you're feeling overwhelmed and it's information overload and your brain hurts, if this is what you want, then I've literally shown you how to do it. If you want to copy it and do it yourself, and or if you want to partner with us, that's what we help people achieve. And I wanted to share with you, we don't have time now, but I've got 3 testimonials. One is from a teacher. So she's an American who is based in Italy. And she literally said, thank God for this mastermind, the partners it brings us, and the exponential learning curve you have gifted us. I have a video interview with her, which I'll share with you. You can click on the link below, and I will share it with you. And it's amazing, actually. She's a single mom. She got divorced 10 years ago. And she invested, and within a month or 2 had a passive income that provided her with a peace of mind because her children were going to university. And my whole philosophy, if she can do it, so can you. Another video I'll share with you is Derek. He's a farmer. He talks a lot about how he used to diversify in his different crops, but he's been farming for 42 years. He really didn't understand the financial industry. It was like this black box term. And it's amazing, and it's so exciting to see the excitement he's got now by having this globally diversified passive income, and ultimately just realizing there's a whole nother way to do it. And the third guy is Abdul. I mean, he's in his 70s. He's a highly sophisticated investor, high net worth, been very, very successful in one country though, and he wanted to become a global citizen. He wanted to globally diversify. He's a chartered accountant. In fact, he audits the Auditor General. And his whole philosophy was, how does he get the right information on the right partners? And he shares his story. So all 3 of them, I'll share all 3 links below. You can go and watch them. And they're real people, real stories. So that's what Private Wealth Global is all about. It's a partnership between Kellogg Capital and ourselves in terms of the family office component. It's about getting results safely and simply. And what we've really realized is there's 3 types of people. There's the retail to sophisticated investor. So there's someone that's thinking and acting and behaving like a retail investor, and they now want to become a sophisticated investor. They want to master their portfolio. We call them the 6K club. Then we've got the 12K club. That's the high net worth to global investor. They're talking all about global diversification. And then finally, we've got the 24K club. That's about generational wealth and ensuring your legacy. And again, when you chat to Alex or myself, we can go into this in a lot more detail. But in simple terms, if you take the 9 steps to generational wealth, each one of the steps is taken care of. But there's a different value add at each one of the steps between the 6K, the 12K, and the 24K. So you've got step 1 about establishing your vision. You've got step 2 with your investor profile. You've got step 3 with your investment solutions. You've got step 4, in terms of your portfolio. So at the 6K club, you're dealing with Anthony. At the 12K club, you're dealing with Garth. Portfolio optimization, the same thing. In terms of accountability and mindset, at the 6K club, you're doing it with group coaching. At the 12K club, you're on a 12-month transformational one-to-one coaching journey with me. In terms of wealth, lifestyle, and legacy, at the 6K, it's an online. At the 12K, you're dealing with a personal consultation. And at the 24K, it's actually being done with you and your family. The step 8, in terms of, and that's the whole generational wealth. The community, partner, and knowledge is access to everyone. And then number 9 is the Private Wealth Global. What's really important is the personal commitment. So we believe that, at the 6K club, there's effectively a level 1 personal commitment. At the 12K club, people double their personal commitment. We find that when people pay, they pay attention. So this really is something that is really important to them, and they really want to make it happen. And then level 3, it's a different level in terms of really a personal commitment to get results. And then from our perspective, in terms of results, well, personal commitment is aligned with the results. So the results will be a level 1 at the 6K, a level 2 at the 12K, and a level 3 at the 24K. And then finally, our results guarantee, so we're only about results, is that we will literally, if someone invests in themselves and makes this personal commitment, we will literally work with them for free once they've made their initial investment until they've made at least 6K passive income or portfolio growth. So we put our money where our mouth is and our time to get results. Okay, so the 6K, it's a 6K. So our logic is to be aligned. If someone invests, it's about getting them a result. At the 12K, it's a 12K passive income or growth, and at the 24K, it's 24K. So that's our results guarantee. And the only caveat there is that people need to actually implement the process of the 9 steps to get the result. As long as they're doing that, we'll work with them for as long as it takes to help them get the result. So that's what it's all about. There's a whole bunch of bonuses. You'll get all our online training and courses thrown in, including Wealth Going Global and Asset Mastery. You'll get access to the best immigration agents if that's what you're looking to do. You'll be invited to the Wealth Weekends. We've been doing these for many, many years. Our last one was in March, which was an awesome experience. And funny enough, our next one is in 2 weeks' time. I don't know if there's time for people to join us, but we've literally got Karen Wellman coming to teach us about Enneagram and wealth, Nicholas teaching us about social and conscious capital, David Lipschitz coming to talk about generational wealth, Garth Wellman coming to talk about the 6 mega trends, and myself. So it's really a jam-packed 4 days together. So you've got the 6 mega trends of wealth, learning to personalize your investor Enneagram and wealth, social and conscious capital, and generational wealth. It's about building lasting investment relationships. We're staying in the cradle of humankind in Johannesburg, South Africa, which is going to be, it's where humankind was literally born. So it's really quite an amazing experience. We're in a game reserve as well, so we can go look at a wild game. We're going to do a Josie tour. And for those that want a South African experience, the whole group of us are going to watch the Springboks versus the All Blacks at Ellis Park. So it's going to be a phenomenal experience. It's probably too late for most people, but I'm a big believer where there's a will, there's a way. So if you were to join us and were to move pretty quickly, you would, you could join us for this. This is a money can't buy this opportunity. It's phenomenal. And then we also do buyers trips that you can participate in. If this all sounds interesting to you, then literally go to diversificationmastermind.com. I think it's really important for you to understand the whole day I've been trying to share with you in the last 90 minutes, one of the greatest lessons I learned. You've got these dabblers out there and they can dabble away and they're never going to be successful at anything. They'll do 20 courses, they never implement anything. They'll read 50 books, they never implement anything. It's always the teacher that's wrong, but they never implement anything. They never get results and they're always looking for the next thing. That's why I love Ann Wilson's octopus on roller skates, because it's such a visual metaphor of they're all over the place. The stressors like me for 14 years out there reading all the books, trying to do it all themselves, which is how most people behave when it comes to money or investing or wealth. And I can just promise you it's a very difficult, lonely process, and as Neil said, very frustrating. A lot of people don't know what to do, etc. The third level is mastery, and I've shown you what to do. Like literally, this is what family offices do. I spent 28 years studying wealthy investors from 178 countries. You'd have to be a bit of an idiot not to spot the patterns. I've literally shown you the 9 steps that they take. So you can copy it, you can master it, you can model it, or there's a 4th level where you can literally partner and not try and figure it all out yourself, and actually have someone like myself and our team and Garth and Anthony and their team actually hold your hand and do this with you. Not necessarily for you, but with you, but in a personalized, bespoke way. So if that's something that resonates with you, go to this link, Diversification Mastermind. We have a 30-minute call, and it's just a get to know each other better call. It's not available for everyone. It's by invite only. We got to make sure that you understand. We need to understand what you're trying to achieve, and make sure that we can help you. So there's got to be a mutual fit. We also want to explain the different streams of the mastermind, the 6, the 12, and the 24, and see which one suits you. And on the assumption that there's synergies, then you'll be invited to join. And what's really important for us is that we're all about results. So we literally put our money where our mouth is. There's two reasons why we have the interview. One is that we want to work with people that are committed and that are there to really get results, because I'm all about results. I'm sorry if I'm sounding arrogant, but I only want to work with people that want to get results. That's the type of person I am. And whether you need the carrot or the stick, I'm going to kick ass and take no prisoners to help you get results. But I want, from a mindset perspective, I need to make sure that we're working with the right type of people. And equally, as a mastermind, it's a collaboration of like-minded people. And so we've got to make sure that we're getting the right type of people in, because collectively we're adding value to each other. And it's really, really important to make sure that synergy continues. We've got an incredible group of people, 72 people at the moment, from England, Australia, New Zealand, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, America, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Swaziland. So we've got an incredible group of geographic breakdown. We've got men and women. We've got ages, 40 through to middle 70s. So, it's such an eclectic, beautiful group of people where we can learn and grow. And we've got everything from farmers to teachers to highly sophisticated business people, auditors, accountants, you name it, in terms of that process. So results is what it's all about. And if you want results, and you want to partner with someone, you want to partner with the best that we've been able to put together in 28 years to help people get results, then you've got diversificationmastermind.com to apply. For those of you who think about it financially, I had one gentleman, he had $12,000 invested, which is, whether it's $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month, and he was getting 7% return. That's not even taking into account the rand devaluation, but it's irrelevant. Let's just keep it simple at 7. And I said, well, on average, over the last 10 years, we and our partners at the family office have got about 14%. So let's just look at the numbers on a return on investment. Well, if you were to invest, $6,000 in yourself to be part of this and to go forward over 5 years, it would be 182% return in terms of that process. So, literally you invest $6,000 and in today's money, you would get 10,991 back, almost 2 for 1, which is, when you look at it from that perspective, it makes it like a no-brainer. So again, if you're a get-rich-quick person and you want this to happen in 30 days or, even in 6 months, we're not that person. Like, we're a journey to help you achieve this for the rest of your life, and not only for you, but for future generations. If you're looking at over 10 years, it's an 800% return. It's $6,000 today, and in today's money, roughly $48,000. And over 30 years, it becomes fairly silly in terms of the numbers, but it shows you what an impact it has over the generational space in terms of that process. So if it's something that is interesting to you, just go along to Diversification Mastermind and set up a call. My only request to you is that if you do book time, please make sure you turn up on time. Alex's time is valuable. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. So we just want to make sure that we respect that in terms of that process. And I want to show you where this all started and tell you some stories. 12, 13 years ago, we were doing buyers trips in America. I mean, this was me here in New York. We would take 10 people over to America. We'd buy houses and started investing in commercial property. And, you can see us here in Times Square. This was me with Dr. Dolph DeRoos. I paid $8,000 to spend a week with Dr. Dolph DeRoos buying properties on the steps of the auction houses in 2011, 2012, when America was in chaos, having a bit of fun down the Grand Canyon in a helicopter, going to see a show in Vegas, buying houses in Atlanta, more houses in Atlanta with different groups, looking at multifamily in Orlando, opening bank accounts. In the old days, you had to fly to America and set this all up and do all of this. Meeting partners. This is what it's all about, meeting partners. You've got to get the right information and the right partners in terms of the process. And all that we've done with the mastermind and with the partnership with our family office is to make this global and to make it digital, so that you don't have to get physically on an airplane to fly somewhere. Having fun outside the New York Stock Exchange, up in North Dakota where the fracking was, and even having some fun at, I want to say Oktoberfest, not Oktoberfest, what's it called? Anyway, that festival at the end of October. And these were 3 of the wealthiest men, in Africa. They own the biggest privately owned shopping center portfolio in Africa. And what was interesting is that, again, the whole philosophy is they could go there, they had the money to do it all themselves, but they didn't. Wealthy people know that they've got to get the right information and the right partners. They'll be much more successful by partnering with people than trying to do it all themselves. Why we believe you should work with us? Well, most people have excuses, around why they don't do things to start off with. But in simple terms, there's 3 myths that I talk about. Well, there's 10 myths in total, but the ones, myth 5, 6, and 7 are, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, and I don't have the knowledge. We built the mastermind to allow people that don't have the time to use the most effective use of their time. I don't have the knowledge. Well, we literally are trying to introduce you to the best partners around the world. You can copy and partner with them so that you can get the knowledge like Niels has spoken about, at the same time while doing it. And thirdly, I don't have the money. Well, again, this is not for everyone. It is a bespoke solution. So I understand for some people it's not accessible. But for those that resonate with this, I sometimes believe you cannot afford to not do it if your future, your family, and generational wealth is important to you. And finally, to my knowledge, we're the only one that does this from a global diversification. So we're not stuck in England trying to sell you English stuff. We're not in America trying to sell you American stuff. We're not in Europe trying to sell you European stuff. We're not just trying to sell you structured notes or property or the stock market or whatever. This is a proper diversified solution, a holistic solution, and a personalized bespoke solution. And to my knowledge, there's nothing out there. There might be the different pieces of the puzzle, but there's no one place, to my knowledge, on this planet where you can get it all in one place and have a simple, safe methodology of a group of partners working together to help you achieve your outcomes. In terms of investing in yourself, I'm not proposing you do anything I haven't already done. I personally have, spent these amounts of monies per year on different areas of my life to make sure that I could not only copy from the best, but ideally partner with the best. And again, $50,000, you might say that was a lot of money, but I got to partner personally with Tony Robbins. That was a picture of me and him in Fiji in 2010 in terms of that process. So there's the formula. You literally, get to choose whether you want to do it on your own or whether you want to partner. Our mastermind is something that I am so grateful for. And really, we've evolved this and realized that the mastermind is only a piece of the puzzle in this generational wealth, which is why we've, in collaboration with our family office, launched Private Wealth Global to help people get results safely and simply. That's the formula. Use it, don't use it, copy it. There it is. Take a screenshot, copy it, implement it yourself, and or partner with us and let us hold your hand and come on this journey with us in terms of the process. If you do, you'll get the bonuses of the Wealth Hacker, access to the best immigration, the Wealth Weekend, and the first access to the buyers trips in terms of just some bonuses. In terms of the overall process, when you sit with Alex or myself one-to-one, it'll be important to kind of resonate which stream is going to help you the best in terms of this process. And finally, in terms of how to apply, literally just go along to Diversification Mastermind. We do have a challenge. We only have a limited number of spots. If I'm doing one-to-one coaching, or if Garth's going to work with you one-to-one, if we're helping you, there's no scalable solution here. It's completely and utterly bespoke. And therefore, we only can onboard a couple of people at a time. And so unfortunately, it's very limited. So if it is something of interest to you, I'd recommend you apply. We also have people say to me, but Scott, I'm only retiring in a year, or I'm selling my property portfolio in a year, or I've got an inheritance coming in a year. My philosophy is do it in parallel. Get set up, get ready. Imagine the peace of mind in 3 months if you've got everything in place, all your plans and everything. And then, when the time that capital becomes available, or when you retire or whatever, you've got it all set up and you can hit the ground running rather than take another 3, 6, 9, 12 months of procrastination. So yeah, it's just my strong, I don't give financial advice, but my strong personal guidance and coaching is there's never an excuse as to why to delay this. I've been watching people, I've been teaching people for 20 years. And the number of times people come along to me and say, Scott, I wish I'd done something, when I heard you 10 years ago. Just please don't be those people. Please be the people that are turning up and giving us testimonials about the results that you're getting. So, a couple more fun pictures in Times Square, watching ice hockey outside Madison Square Gardens, outside the New York Stock Exchange, buying commercial property in Atlanta, buying houses, having some more fun at a party, meeting the partners on the ground. All of this is what you had to do in the old days, and the old days being 10 years ago. Flying to America, buying properties, Dr. Dolph DeRuis in an investment committee meeting. This guy, Paul Shalander, we did 7 big portfolios with him, buying big commercial properties like this one, doing due diligence trips in Hong Kong, and again, buying buildings in America. If you want to do it, if you want to be global, if you want to think like a global citizen, if you want to be globally diversified and build globally diversified passive income and have portfolio growth, if you want to be like Jordan and Victoria, and most importantly, if you want to have partners that kind of want to go on a journey and be in a like-minded community of people that are already achieving this, then I'd strongly recommend that you take action and apply to be part of the Diversification Mastermind. We put our money where our mouth is. If you haven't picked up from me in the last 90 minutes, I'm a guy that likes to get results. And whether it's the carrot or the stick, like I've already mentioned, we're putting our money and our time where our mouth is to help you get results. So I leave you with a final thought. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. There's the formula. Copy it, implement it yourself, or partner with us. As Nelson Mandela said, money won't create success. The freedom to make it will.
I have walked a long walk to freedom. It has been a lonely road, and it is not over yet.
The whole world's wealth is a lonely road. Generational wealth is a lonely road. Being a global investor is a lonely road. And the whole idea behind the mastermind is to allow people to partner with people. So I've tried to share with you today some of the greatest gifts I was given. So I'm just trying to find my mouse here. Where's it gone? So I've tried to share with you some of the greatest gifts that I've learned over my life around this dabbler, the stressor, the master, and partnering. I hope you've enjoyed the 9 steps and the patterns. I hope you enjoyed the real people and the real stories. Like I said to you, the link below, I'll share with you Cynthia, Derek, and Abdul, and you can go and learn from all of them, different people from around the world and their personal experiences and whether you resonate with them. This is not for everyone. I get that. My only request to you is that if you've been here and you've sat on for the last, over 90 minutes now, then it's something important to you and your family. And whether it's with us or whether it's with someone else, I don't really care. But I've given you the formula as to what the family offices around the world are doing. Either copy it and implement it yourself or partner with someone like ourselves. But most importantly, please do not have analysis paralysis. Like Neil said, so many people are out there going, what do I do? How do I do it? And that's why I've tried to share you the how and the what. And I've given you, I promised you up front, 3 things. Can you get a globally diversified passive income and portfolio growth in less than 12 months? I guarantee you can. 2, is there a system where you can do it 70% safer, simpler, and faster? Well, according to Harvard, I've shared it with you. You can either do it all yourself or you can partner with someone else. And 3, what does generational wealth mean to you and your family? And hopefully today, I've shared with you that it's not a pipe dream. Whether you're a highly, wealthy and sophisticated high net worth individual, whether you're, an aspiring investor, hopefully I've shared with you and given you not only the belief, but shown you the formula on how you can achieve it for you and your family. So, huge amount of gratitude to all of you that have joined. I hope you enjoyed it. This won't be the first time I do this presentation because I think this is a gift that needs to be shared with the world. So if you enjoyed it, I'd love to, just put a comment in the chat box. Let me know what you think. I'd love to kind of get your feedback in terms of what you enjoyed about it. I want to share this with the world because I'm tired of everyone out there being, I don't know if you want to use the word hoodwinked, but basically indoctrinated with a system that's not working. our purpose and our passion, why I'm on this planet, is to help everyone invest like the top 1%. And if you think of it from that perspective, and you think of how I literally started this morning with my learning lesson of, the whole mastery thing and go and copy the best and ultimately partner with the best, that's exactly what we've done. We've literally gone, well, family offices are doing it for the wealthiest people. Why don't we copy what they're doing? Actually, why don't we create a mastermind and help people just partner with them and actually achieve the same results for themselves? So I'm not saying it's the only formula in the world, but Tony Robbins is, again, one of the 100 most influential people in the world. It's a pattern and a lesson that and a system and a formula that I learned from him. And it's really made a lot of sense for me in, the last 14 years of my life. So I hope it helps you in your life. If you did enjoy this, please just put something in the comments, share it with your friends. I think we all have a global responsibility to create the world we want. It starts with ourselves. And if we can empower ourselves and our children, and if we can leave a legacy, then I think we can create a far better world, for everyone. So I'll stop talking. I feel like I'm on my soapbox. I'm very, very passionate about this. And to those of us that are joining us at the Wealth Weekend, it's going to be a life-changing experience, in my opinion, because to have those 5 powerhouses in one room for 4 days is going to be utterly incredible. And what I expect to do is to learn, listen, and to come back and to share with you so that you too can start to get those gifts. But as I've always done, the best way to get the fastest results is to be in the room, to be with the people, and to partner with them. And I suppose that's your choice. Have an awesome day. Cheers.